just wanted to take this opportunity to reflect on what you already knew, that we had launched a conversation with the public on the concept of a high earner income tax and creating more fairness in our tax structure during this difficult legislative session. And just to point out that this is hardly a new topic of conversation, and driven by the motive of making our tax system more fair for middle-class families. And we had a very engaged public debate. We had town hall meetings in our districts, blog and online forums, as well as a lot of media coverage. We wanted to take this opportunity to tell you that many members of the Senate Democratic Caucus, but certainly not all, still believe that changing our tax system is the right thing to do. However, we've concluded this is not the right time to do it. And so we won't be moving forward with any proposals this session related to that. It's clear we don't have the legislative support to move forward at this point. But, however, it's also clear there are a lot of organizations out there that want to keep this debate moving forward.
Oh, and as you likely know, I introduced Senate Bill 6147 this year. It's about the same as the bill I introduced 2 years ago here in the Senate. And we all know that we have one of the most regressive tax structures in the country. In fact, many of us believe we have the most regressive tax structure. About 50% of our revenue comes from sales tax, which is the one that harms the low income or has the greatest effect, negative effect on the low income and lower middle income. In our state, we have many individuals who make a great deal of money. I don't know how many millionaires we have in our state. There are plenty. And yet they are taxed proportionately the least, while the low income are taxed proportionately the most.
We have people in our district who would not pay this tax, but who would benefit from it. We have people in our district who would pay this tax and who have benefited from all that the state does by education and transportation systems. These are the people along the coast who have most benefited. Folks who have benefited from what state does and who are particularly of high income are generally speaking fine with this tax. Statewide, I understand there's quite a bit of antipathy toward this, as if a state income tax were a new invention that 41 other states didn't already have. There's an irony here. There are many, many people, and I believe that the trend is favorable, who are beginning to understand, in an era after we've had 8 years of relentless taxation shifting, of the burden of taxation has come on to the shoulders of low income and working people.
Our current tax base, largely funded by the state sales tax, which funds 56% of our state revenue, is clearly a regressive tax. Moving to a more progressive income tax advances us. One of the concerns you hear is that we're already overtaxed. That's not true. We actually are 24th in the country for the amount our individuals pay for state and local taxes. Even if an income tax brings in a net same amount of money, it's a more progressive tax base, taxing those who can more afford it, as Senator Cole-Wells has already spoken of, being more fair. 7 states, we're one of 7 states who don't have a state income tax today. I think it's also important to acknowledge that an income tax is not a panacea. It would not solve our problems this year. It would not solve our problems in an economic downturn of this magnitude in the future. An income tax doesn't solve those problems, but it helps mitigate them and make sure that we're treating people fairly and equitably in a year when we're facing extreme cuts in services, from education to transportation to human services, that everyone across the state relies on.